As part of today's class, we are going to discuss about copy control functionality, copy control settings functionality in SAP sales and distribution, that is SAP SD module. So what are these copy controls? So basically these copy controls are very short programs. The copy controls are very short programs that are used. These copy controls are short programs, a small piece of code, a small piece of routines that are used when you are copying the data, when you are copying the data from one document to other document. So that means, let me explain this way. Like before I get into the, before I deep dive into SAP SD copy control functionality, let me explain the business reason. Let me explain the business background. Why we need to understand, why we need to learn the copy control functionality. It is like this. For example, you created a sales order. You created a sales order. So when you create a sales order, what happens? After sales order, what you do? What you perform? What is the next activity you perform after sales order?
Delivery.
So we create outbound delivery. We create outbound delivery. And then we perform the goods issue, which is in the same transaction. And after delivery, what you do? After delivery, what is the next document?
Invoice.
Invoice or the billing document. So now the point is, when you create an order, the sales order, the sales document has some details, right? It has some details like customer name, like sold to party, ship to party, Incoterms, payment terms, shipping point, plant, storage location. There are material, quantity, delivery dates, right? And pricing. There are many values, right? When you create a sales order, while creating a sales order, the sales order contains or consists of, the sales document consists of different fields or many fields. The sales document consists of many fields like customer, sold to party, ship to party, payment terms, Incoterms, material quantity, shipping point, plant, right? There are many fields, there are many parameters which are available in the sales order. Okay. And the next thing is when you create a delivery, okay, do you think it is good idea to enter all the details one more time during the creation of the delivery? Like do you think again enter the customer, again enter the material, again enter the quantity, again enter the Incoterms, payment terms, shipping point? Is it really good to enter all the details again during the delivery?
No.
No, it is not good. So it is not a good idea. It is not a good idea to enter all the details, again the same details during the creation of the subsequent document. So I mean, while creating the sales order itself, you have already entered all the required information. And when you create a delivery, it does not make any sense to enter all the details one more time while creating the delivery process, because business users felt like very uncomfortable entering the same data for every document. I mean the same series, if the same sequence, order, delivery, billing. For that particular order, it has, let us say the sales order contains 100 items. The sales order contains 100 line items. Maybe let me take Excel so that it will be more clear. Okay. So this is my sales order. Okay. And the sales order number, my sales order number, which I created in this morning, let us say, okay. So this is 20000067. Okay. And this had item, like you can say, like material 1. Okay. Material 1 with 100 quantity or 1000 quantity. So like this. Okay. So I have 7 materials with different quantities. And as you know that this sales order got all the information like ship to party, sold to party, payment terms, inco terms, shipping point, plant, okay, conditions, and many data elements, many fields. And now when I create outbound delivery, okay, I may be creating one delivery for all the sales order, right? For all the sales order, I can create one delivery or I can create multiple deliveries, right? Okay. So I can create the first delivery with material 1 and 2. I can create the second delivery with material 5, 6, or I can create delivery for all the items and complete quantity. Or I can do the partial deliveries. I can do the multiple deliveries. Basically, I can do the multiple deliveries. I can do the single delivery. That's up to the business reason or business situation. Now the point is, when I create a delivery every time, when I create a delivery with reference to this order, when I create a delivery with reference to the order, so it doesn't make sense, if I enter like sold to party again, ship to party again, payment terms again, inco terms again, like shipping point again, like plant and everything. Is it really make sense if I use all the elements to create outbound delivery every time?
No, it will become too tedious.
It's very hectic to the business users. The business is not your client. Okay, the client or the customer who is using SAP, the business users or the end users or the power users, they felt very bad. They felt frustrated because it does not make sense to them to enter each and every data again and again, which is already there in the order, and they're already giving the reference of order. So since they are giving the reference of order, since they're when you create a delivery, what we do? We specify the delivery, the order, right? When you are creating the outbound delivery, what is the field you specify? You specify the reference order. You are specifying the order number, the sales order number for which you are creating the delivery. So that means what they expect, whatever the data elements, whatever the fields available in the order and required for the delivery automatically should populate. They should populate automatically all the fields available in a sales document, sales order, and required for the delivery. They should automatically populate in the delivery creation process if you refer the order. Am I correct?
Yes, Venkat.
In a similar way, when you create a billing document, with reference to outbound delivery, okay, so what the business user expect? So when you create a billing document, you specify the delivery, right? We specify the delivery number. We specify. You can create delivery document for the multiple. You can create a billing document for the multiple deliveries. You can specify billing document for the multiple deliveries, or you can create billing document for the one delivery, whatever it is. So when you specify that delivery information while creating the billing document, what is your expectation? What is the user expectation? The data available in the delivery should automatically populate, should automatically come to the billing document. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is how the business expect to copy the data. This is how the business expects, the business people expects the data copy from previous document to the subsequent document. That means even not only business, we are also expecting like the data from the previous document should copy from the source document to the target document. So what is the source document? For example, this case, when you are creating the outbound delivery, what is the source document and what is the target document? The source document is the sales order and target document is the delivery document. Okay. And when you create a billing document with reference to the outbound delivery, so what is the source document? The source document is the outbound delivery and billing document is the target document. So like this, the business people expects that the data should automatically populate, the data should automatically comes or carry out from one document to the other document. So this is the expectation, okay, which is always expected by the business people in the SAP ERP usage. When the people are using, when business users or the power users or the end users are using the SAP system, they expect this. Okay, because of that reason, what SAP did, SAP already provided a functionality. SAP developed a functionality called copy control functionality or copy control settings. SAP already provided copy control settings. There are SAP itself given standard copy control functionality to copy data from one document to the other document and the other document to the next document. Sometimes, sometimes what happens when you would like to, okay, do you think it is always order to delivery and delivery to billing? Or what do you think? Like, do you think, is it possible sometimes you create directly sales order to the billing document? What do you think? Is it
Yes, sir. When there is service, when it is.
it could be service, or whenever you charge more, it is like this. When you, while creating the billing document, if in case you, instead of $10, you charge your customer $15. When you create a billing document, instead of the $10, if you charge $15, so what you need to do, you need to give the credit to the customer, right? You need to give the credit to
Credit
the
memos.
customer. So in order to give the credit to the customer, you know what SAP, what kind of functionality given by SAP? In order to issue the credit to the customer, SAP provided the process is like this. First, you need to create a sales order called credit memo request. The SAP provided approach is, first you need to create a credit memo request. Okay, you need to create CMR. It is also sales document. Okay, credit memo request is also one kind of sales document. Credit memo request or the debit memo request. Credit memo request or the debit memo request, they are also one kind of, some kind of sales documents like order, okay, quotation, inquiry, and contract, schedule agreement. These are all the different sales document types, right? Different sales document, right? In the similar way, credit memo request and the debit memo request also one kind of sales order. Okay, so when you create a credit memo request, so if you want to issue the, the credit to the customer, do you need to do any delivery? No, right?
No, there won't be any delivery.
You just need to issue the credit memo. Your goal is to issue the credit memo because you charge more to the customer. Okay, for that reason, what SAP did first, because you cannot directly give the credit memo to the customer. Okay, you cannot directly give the credit memo to the customer. What you need to do, you have to create credit memo request first, and then you can create the credit memo. That means you need to create a reference document. You need to show the proof in the system. Okay, why you are issuing the credit memo. So when you create a credit memo request, what you do, you specify what is this credit memo meant for, and what is the reason. You can specify the, you remember when you're creating a sales order, like you see the reason for creating the sales order, right? So if it is generally, when it is the standard order, we don't need to specify any reason. But if it is a credit memo, request, if you are creating the sales document for creating the credit memo, That is, if you are creating the create memo request, you specify the reason. Okay, damage of the goods, or like whatever you can say, like overcharge or undercharge. Like this, there are many business reasons given by SAP. You can specify the reason. And also, just for your information, this create memo request document, by default, it is having a document block. By default, it is having a billing block. You know why? So we cannot give that approval, we cannot give that privilege to everyone, right? Okay. So that means whenever you create a create memo request, the system automatically put a billing block. That means the subsequent transaction will be blocked, will not be allowed. So when it will be allowed? Whenever the authorized person. So that means anyone can create the create memo request. Anyone can create the create memo request. But the create memo can only, the create memo, which is a billing document actually. Create memo is a billing document. Okay. Create memo is a billing document. Create memo request is a sales document. Debit memo request is a sales document. Debit memo is a billing document. Okay. What is debit memo? Whenever you charge the less, you are supposed to charge $100 to the customer, but by mistake you have charged only $90. Then what you need to do? You have to charge the $10 difference, right? So for that reason, what we do? We create a debit memo request first. We create a, which is a sales order, debit memo request, and then we create a billing document called debit memo. Okay. So create memo, debit memo, which are billing documents. So these documents, in order to create these documents, what happens when you create this create memo request or the debit memo request? By default, system applies the block. Create memo request and debit memo request, by default they are blocked. Even return also, return order also, by default they are blocked. Okay. So in order to process the subsequent document, in order to create the create memo or debit memo, what happened? The authorized person has to come. The authorized person has to come and release the block for this and this. So that is the reason whenever any transaction like cancelled in the during the Walmart counters, if you can observe it, so they call someone else. The actual agent try to call the other people, because there are some blocks already set up by the system. Okay, this kind of returns, this kind of like whenever they cancel any item from the cart. Okay, whenever any changes happens for some transactions, system put a automatically block. Even SAP also like that. So whenever you are creating the return order, create memo request, debit memo request, for these documents, system automatically applies a block, because you already seen. Did you remember when you are configuring the sales document type, there is a default block option. So for which one you put this block? When you are creating, if I go there, it will take some time, because since we already explained, please try to recollect. If you remember the sales document type configuration, there is a field, default block.
Credit block. It's
Credit block. Along with the credit block, there are other block. Okay, delivery block. If you go to the down, the credit block is on the top section. If you go to the completed down, billing and delivery section, there is an option whether you want to apply the delivery block, whether you want to apply the billing block. So if you, when you are configuring the billing block for that document type, when you create a create memo request, it automatically applies. System automatically put a block. You don't need to put again. Okay, like that. So, and then authorized person, there are some transaction codes, VK M1, VK M2, VK M3. There are 3 transaction codes. Those transaction codes are only accessed by the authorized people. Everyone will not have access to the transaction, those transactions, because VKM1, VKM2, VKM3, those transactions are remove the blocks for the sales documents. Okay, for that reason, only authorized people will have access to those transaction codes, and they remove it, and then we can create the credit memo or the debit memo. Okay, this is. So now the point is, like in this case, where do you need to maintain the copy controls? Between what document types you need to maintain the copy controls? This create memo request, you need to maintain the copy controls between C2, and then CM. Let us say CM. Like this, between these 2 document types, you need to maintain the copy controls. So in this case, what you need to do? You need to maintain the copy controls between OR is the document type, right? Sales document type, and LF is the delivery document type. So in this case, you need to maintain like document type OR to the LF. That is copy controls between sales document to the delivery document. In this case, LF to F2, right? LF to F2. So this case, what we do, we maintain the copy controls between delivery document to the billing document. So this case, where do you maintain? We maintain copy controls between sales document to maintain copy controls between what? Sales document to the creating
Delivery document, billing document.
So in this case, we maintain the sales document to billing document. So how many ways you can maintain? Sometimes you can maintain sales document to delivery document, and sometimes you maintain delivery document to billing document, and sometimes you maintain sales document to the billing document. Like this, there are the different ways which you can maintain copy controls. And not only that, for example, if you are creating, try to understand, if you are creating inquiry to the quotation and quotation to the, let us say you are creating a sales order from the quotation. You are creating sales order with reference to the quotation. With reference to the quotation. Both are what documents? Both are sales document, right? Am I correct?
Yes, both are sales document.
Inquiry is a sales document, delivery quotation, inquiry is a sales document, quotation is a sales document, sales order is a sales document. Okay, create memo request, all these are sales documents. So when you are creating the quotation to the sales order, both are sales document. So both have their own document types, right? Like OR, quotation also it's having its own document type. Then where do you need to maintain the copy controls? You need to maintain the copy controls between same document types, like maintain the copy controls between the sales documents, like quotation to the order or inquiry to the quotation or inquiry to the order. So like this, you can maintain copy controls. So like this, SAP has provided different copy controls approach to maintain here. And these copy controls, as I already mentioned earlier, copy controls are, short programs, very small programs developed by SAP. Copy controls are very small programs or short programs developed by SAP. For what purpose? To copy the data from one document to the subsequent document. Copy controls are the small piece of codes or small piece of routines. You remember in the pricing, we have three different kind of routines. You remember? Requirement routine. In the pricing, we understood requirement routines, alternative calculation type routines, and alternative base value routines. Three different kind of routines. So one routine, requirement routine verifies. Requirement routine verifies or validate whether certain criteria is met. Whether certain criteria is met to determine a condition type during the sales order. That means there are many condition types in the pricing. There are many condition types in the pricing. In order to determine each and every condition type in the pricing, you can put a condition, you can put a rule, right? You can put a requirement rule. So in order to put a requirement rule, under what rule the condition type has to be determined, what you assign the routines, right? You assign the routines. Requirement routines to all the condition types. You remember? And every time system is determining the condition type in the sales order, it will check what is the requirement routine, assign it in the pricing process, and it will check the program, the small piece of code. It will check if it satisfies the requirement routine code, requirement routine logic, then only system will determine the condition type in the sales order. Am I correct? I already explained many times. You remember?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the similar way, like the way how SAP has provided requirement routines, calculation rules, like calculation routines, calculation type basis routines. Okay, in the similar way, even in copy controls also, SAP provided copy control routines. So in order to control how the data has to be copied, in order to control how the data has to be copied from source document to the subsequent document or the target document, what SAP did. So we need to, SAP provided in the form of routines. They provided copy control routines. Okay. So now what we are going to do, we are going to demonstrate the system. Okay. Okay. So if I go to SPRO, okay, sales and distribution, sales. See, maintain copy controls for sales document. Maintain copy control for the sales document. Okay. And then if you go to the billing, okay, maintain copy controls for the billing document. And if you go to the logistics execution, like shipping, you can see maintain copy control for the shipping documents. Okay. Let us see the same thing. Once you understand one thing, you will be automatically understanding other things also. So if I go here, maintain copy controls. Okay. See, for the sales document, what copy controls you need? You need copy controls between sales to sales, right? That is what I told. Let me keep this screen open. Okay. You see, what are the, we are in the sales document type configuration. Am I correct? We are in the sales document type configuration, VOV8, right? The transaction code to configure sales document type is T code is VOV8, and if you want to go to the SPRO, you can go there also. Okay. So here, if I go to any document to see like document category, if you look here, so what are the different type of sales document? Enquiry is a sales order.
Right.
Quotation is a sales order. Like contract is a scale. Even all these are sales orders. Okay. Item proposal, scheduling agreement. Okay. These are all the different sales orders. Even written order is a sales order. Create memo request is a sales document. Debit memo request is also some kind of sales order. Okay. So all these are the sales document types. So here, sometimes what we do, we create quotation with reference to the inquiry. Okay. Sometimes we create the order with reference to the quotation. Sometimes you create, okay, you create like this contract, you create, there is something called contract. You create contract with for the contract, you create a release order, which is a sales order. You create a release order with reference to the contract. So like this, there is a requirement, there is a need for us to maintain the copy controls between the sales document to the sales document. So then what you need to do, you have to define the copy controls. You have to define the copy controls between sales document to the sales document. This is the first thing, first part. Understood? Understood why you need to study, why you need to understand the copy controls between the sales document to sales document. And the second one is billing document to the sales document. So as I already explained, sometimes what happens with reference to the billing document, okay, let us say, if you are creating the create memo request, so what you need to give the reference? If you are creating the create memo request, that means you wanted to, like you, as you already understood, create memo request. Why do you need to create? You create the create memo request for the customer. You create the create memo request to the customer. Since you charged more amount, excess amount in the previous billing document, right? Okay. When you created this billing document, instead of $100, you have charged $150. Okay. The customer realized it and he contacted you back. Then what you need to do to give that $50 back, what you need to do, you have to create a create memo request and then you have to create a create memo. So now the point is, when you create a create memo request, what you need to do, you need to show, you need to tell, you need to give the reference. So why you are creating the, it's not a normal order. If it is a normal order, you can directly create it. But when you are trying to give some amount back to the customer, you need to show some kind of reference. So why you are issuing the create memo request? Then what you need to do? For example, if your billing document is 9004, so you need to give as a reference to this. When you are creating the create memo request, you need to give this reference of billing document. Then what happens? Whatever the data in this billing document, will be copied to the create memo request. Am I correct? Vivek. So when you are creating the create memo request, the reference is this. Let me show and try to create one document. So I'm creating create memo request.
So Venkat, I had a question. Why don't we configure this also when we are configuring sales document types?
Which one?
This copy controls.
No, here it is not there. It is a separate functionality.
Okay.
In the same screen, it is not possible. So here, CR, create memo request, okay? Create memo request document type is CR, okay? If I specify this one, see what is there by default. When I try to create
There's a billing block.
How come it is? Because if you go and look at here, so if you put block here in the document type configuration, if you put block in the document type configuration, so it looks the screen is having some problem, okay? Some values are not showing, but it is coming here, okay? So if you put building block here, okay, then automatically the block will be applied to all the create memo request created using that CR document type. And also when you are creating this create memo request, you have to go to the create with reference, okay, and specify the billing document. See, so this billing document number, whatever the billing in which you charge an access amount to the customer, this has to be specified here, and then you can say copy. Okay, it's not exist, just telling you. Then what happens? Whatever the data is in the billing document will be copied to the this create memo request. Am I correct? So that is the reason what copy controls you need to maintain. The next one, you also need to maintain copy controls between billing document to the sales document, because when you are creating some sales documents like create memo request, debit memo request, and returns order, when you are creating those sales documents, you have to give the reference. You have to use the reference of billing document. Even for the return order also, what you need to do? Can you create the return order directly, just like that? No, right? When you are creating the returns order, you need to specify, right? What is the proof that he already bought from you? Can you get, if you go to the Walmart, can you get the like can you return the goods without giving the proof?
No, goods receipt.
Receipt is required, right? So that is what your return, like when you are creating when they are creating the return order, they need to have the proof of billing document receipt. That is billing document. That is what I'm telling. Because of that reason, you also need to maintain the copy controls between billing document to the sales document. Okay, understood? Vijay.
Yes, Venkat.
Okay. Okay. Now if I go to the sales document, so here you need to specify, okay, what are the document types, whatever the document types you use, whatever the document types, you use for quotations and sales orders, you can maintain copy controls between those document types. Okay, if it happens like you create a sales order with reference to the quotation QT, then what you need to do, you have to maintain copy controls between QT to the OR. Okay, let me write here before the system. Okay, if in case let us say QT is a quotation document, okay, and OR is sales order. Okay, if in case you are supposed to create sales document, okay, sales order with reference to this quotation, like quotation, what you need to do, you have to maintain copy controls between QT and OR. You have to maintain copy controls between QT your source document, and OR is your target document. Okay, in the similar way, if in case you are creating like let me make it one box. Okay, so if in case you are creating create memos using the with reference to create memo request C2 and CM, then what you need to do, okay, so if you are creating the create memo with reference to the create memo request, then you need to maintain the copy controls. You need to maintain the copy controls between CM document type to Z2 document type. So like this, you need to maintain the copy controls. So here, like if in case you are maintaining like copy controls between order to delivery, then you have to maintain copy controls between OR to LF. So like this, the copy controls has to be maintained. Okay, why it's taking so much time? Can any one of you try from your end? I just want to make sure, is it for me or everyone? This is active. So since this session is active, it is not allowing me to log off. So you can try from your system. If it is still same, then I will try to use the other system.
System is slow, Venkat. Is it slow for you also?
Yes, you are correct. Since 4 minutes, it's keep. Okay, let me log into the other system.
Because it's only loading and loading. It's not.
Okay. So if I go to sales document, sales, maintain copy controls. Okay. Sales document to sales document. What happened? Like it's only specific to this copy control.
I don't know, Venkat. It is stuck. My page is stuck. It's not going ahead.
Venkat, it is same thing for me. I click the copying control, it's keep processing. So
Maybe I think I could see that some issue with the copy control. Maybe some patches are missing because let me see. Stop. Okay. So the actual transaction code VTAA. VTAA. A means sales. VTAA copy controls. So actually, people may not ask you the transaction codes. Nobody will expect you to remember the transaction codes, but if you remember it, it is it is a time saving. You can save a lot of time like that. Okay.
But Venkat, if you have all these T codes, could you send it to us?
Yes, and I will send.
Okay, thank
No problem. Let me try billing side. So VTFA. So A sales, F means billing. Okay. VT is the copy control related. VT is copy control. VTFA means, because that's how I remember, like whatever the way you can remember. It is for the billing to sales. Thank you. So this is between billing document to the sales document types. For example, so what is our billing document? The, like when you are creating, so in which, under what context you create a sales document with reference to the billing document type? Can you tell me under what context and what business process or the business reason you create a sales order with reference to the billing document?
Credit memo request or debit memo request?
Whenever you are creating a credit memo request, then you give the reference of the billing document. Or whenever you are creating the return order, then also you give the billing document. Okay. So now we are in, like, the copy controls between billing document to the sales document. So F2 is the standard billing document, and let us say you are creating return order. So that is what is the return order type? RE, right? Return order type is RE. No? Let me check. So this is F2. Down. Stop me if you see the credit memo as well. This is the one more problem. Somewhat is not able to see values. Okay. So this is the copy controls maintained between create billing document and the create memo request. So what does it mean? Whenever you are creating, whenever why, one thing, this is one more point. This is one more point. For example, let me explain. For example, if you are creating the create memo request, try to understand. If you are creating the credit memo request, with reference to this billing document, if in case, if you do not maintain copy controls between CM and F2, if you do not maintain the copy controls between F2 and CMR, if you do not maintain the copy controls between F2 and CMR, do you think system will allow you to create memo request with reference to this billing document?
No.
System will, whenever you give any reference of billing document while creating the create memo request, system will check first what is the billing the number document type, what is the billing number document type, and system will check is there any copy controls between maintained between that billing document type and this create memo request document type. If copy controls are already maintained, then only it will allow to create the create memo request. That will also check. Okay, you will see that if you try to see, you can see that. So, and then if you maintain it, if you go to the details, okay, there are all the routines. You see, so the target document is billing document, source document is create memo request, okay, and what they did, they already assigned one routine, okay. So whenever a create memo request is creating with reference to the billing document, SAP itself some standard routine, copy routine. Copy routine means how the data has to be copied, what data has to be copied. So all those details, all those controls are available under the all those details available under the routine. So routine what? Routine is a piece of code. Okay, routine is a piece of code. Okay, so whatever is written here, whatever is the rules, the copying rules written here. So those are those. This is the description. This is the description. But this is the actual the small code. So this is the small code. If you can see here, each routine is having its own code. So that means whatever the business reason it is, whatever the business requirement it is, you assign that routine. SAP has given different routines. SAP has given different rules to copy. Each routine is having its one rule, right? Hello? SAP has provided different routines, different controls. So whatever the control is suitable, whatever the routine which is suitable for our business requirement, you assign that. If in case, so this is the code written by ABAPers. This is the code written by the ABAPers. So here what happens? According to the code written in the routine, that routine, the system will behave. System will allow you to copy, or system will not allow you to copy, or system will accept some data, system will ignore some data. Sometimes you wanted to, SAP has given to copy 10 fields. SAP has given to copy the data of source document to the target document, only 10 fields. But you want only 9 fields. One field you don't want to copy. Then what you need to do? You have to contact your ABAP team member, development team member, and you can explain. You give the routine number, and you can explain to them that this is what it is doing, but I don't want to copy all the things. I wanted to restrict 2 or 3 things. Then the ABAPer will change something here. And in the similar way, the system is transferring only 10 fields, but you want 2 more fields. So then also you can tell your ABAPer, and so that the ABAPer will change, okay, the routine. Like basically, a routine is a piece of code, a small program. Routine is a small program which controls the process. If it is a copy control, it controls the copy process. If it is the pricing, it controls the pricing process. Okay, that is how it works. So these are the standard routines given by the SAP. Each routine is having its own requirement. And apart from that, generally we don't use these fields. Okay, in the header level is not having much, only like the routine, whatever the routine you assign that, and you can specify whether you wanted to copy the item number from the source document to the target document. You remember, like item numbers, item 10, 20, 30, 40, or item 100, 20, 200, right? So if you want to have the same item number, from the billing document to the sales document, you can activate this. If you do not want, you don't need to activate. If you want to the number for items in its own way in the sales document for the create memo request, you can ignore it. Or if you want the same item number of billing to the create memo request, you can activate this. And the next thing is this is header level, and there is something else, item level. So what are the different levels of data we have in the sales order? Header level data and item level data. Okay. Header level data is controlled at what level? Document type, right? Header level data controlled at the sales document type level. Item level data Generally, item level data is controlled at what level? Item category, right? Item
Yes, item category level.
category. So here what happens, you can specify, okay, all the controls at item category level. Okay, you can specify all the controls at the item category level. So if I go to the item level copy controls, you see these are the fields. Okay, this is basically main document type is F2 billing from the you are creating billing document with reference to what document? Reference to
Credit
memo request.
request.
You are creating billing document with reference to the create memo request. This is the scenario. You are creating this is billing document, right? Create memo is the billing document, and you are creating billing document with reference to the create memo request. Now let me select that specific one. So target is billing document, source is this. So your target, okay. See, G2 is the create memo document type, and CR is the create memo request. Okay, you are creating create memo billing document, create memo billing with reference to the CR create memo request. Create memo request. Using the create memo request, you are creating the using the create memo request, you are creating the create memo. Okay. Now, so header level, you can maintain whatever the copying data, header control, whatever the way you wanted to copy the header level data, that control you can specify in the copy requirement routine. Okay, and if you can go to the items, if you can go to the item data control, item data copy control, that you can maintain the item category level. Okay, so basically
Yeah, Venkat, I have a question. How do you know in the header you specified 001? Okay, but how do you, there are so many parameters. How will you know which one to use, right?
okay, basically the standard copy control which we use to copy the data between sales document to the billing document is 0001. If in case, okay, if that is not suitable, like you can see, if you can go to each and every routine, there are different routines. Each routines have given for different situations. The copy control routines, you can see all the routines. Okay, for example, as I already
No, but this 1 to 100, whatever it is, it comes only through experience, right?
you can read this actually. We can read this, for example. So this is example of copying requirement. Okay, you create, you know that, right? You already doing ABAP work in the VOFM. We create, there. So basically, so this requirement is used to validate the header of the order document before copying the subsequent billing document. So for example, based on this routine, the system will check, are there any billing blocks? What is the billing status? What is the incompletion indicator? Okay, these all fields are verified according to the copy control between these two document types. If you assign the 0001, the system will verify before copying, is there any billing document or not? So what is the billing status? So what is whether pricing is incomplete or not? Okay, whether the document is incomplete or not? Okay, so by checking all these things, if everything is okay, then only the copying is permitted. If, for example, any billing block, any incompletion status, any incompletion block, These things are there in the source document, that is in our create memo request. The copying is not allowed. So that is what this requirement does. If in case this requirement is not fulfilled, then what you can do, you can copy, you know that, right? You can copy this one. Okay, so like since you are also like ABAP, what you can do, so when you understand that, when you anyway, like when you, if you become a techno functional consultant, you do yourself. If you become the functional consultant, you ask your developer, okay, this is the current requirement which you are using. You will ask them, copy this and change the name to 901 or Z1, A1 or whatever the number it is, and they can write the code according to your requirement. For example, you are okay to copy the data from the create memo request to the billing document. You are okay to copy the data from the create memo request to the create memo, even though there is a block. Then you can remove that restriction there in the routine, like that. Like we can read, Tejo. We can read basically.
Okay.
Whoever it is, we have to read, each and every routine, because it's just regular, like regular explanation, right? So that will help us to understand what it is doing, and whether it is not, if that information, if that requirement, whatever the rule is specifying in that is not satisfying your business, what you can do, you can copy that routine and change the name, and then basically you will ask the ABAP development team, copy that routine and change the code according to our requirement. That is what we do. Is that your question, Tejo?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, now and then if you go to the item level, okay, basically the G2N is the item category, and if you can go here, okay, you can see here. So this is like, the header level, and this is item level, what you are controlling. Okay, so basically even for the item level also, what happens, okay, you can specify how the data has to be copied, and also, so what is the pricing mechanism it should work. Okay, I will explain. Let me explain this thing. These things are the standard. Let me explain. Copying routine. Whenever you are copying the data from the billing document, from the sales document type, that is create memo request, to the billing document, that is the create memo. So we assign for the item category, item level, for item level data copy. For item level, for copying the data, item level from the source document to target document. So to copy the data header level, we have assigned 00001 to copy the data from the source document header level to the target document to header level. And then to copy the data from the source document item data to the target document item level, or item document, target document item, what we do, we assign 002. So again, if I go here, so this explains. So this requirement is used to validate the items of the order document before copying the data. Before copying data, it will validate. So what it is used? So this requirement is used in situations where there is no delivery. Because why this requirement using here 002? Why there is no delivery? Because you are creating. So when you can use this requirement 002, when you can use this requirement 002 here, whenever there is no delivery. That means what? Do we need any delivery for issuing the create memo with reference to the create memo request? Do you need any delivery?
No.
No, not required.
You are just giving the excess money what you charge, giving back to the customer. No delivery, right? Okay. Okay, like that. If I go. For example, when you are creating a create memo billing document with reference to the create memo request, no item should be copied until the request has been reviewed and billing block is removed. Okay, so that means when you are creating the create memo request, so what is happening? the system is putting the block, right? As I already explained a few minutes back, when you are creating the create memo request, the system is putting the billing block. So that means this requirement, even at the item level also, it is checking are there any billing blocks for the items as well. Okay, system will apply block to the item level of the create memo request and header level of the create memo request. So header level of the billing block for the header level, where you can specify Tejo, billing document for the billing block for the header level, where you can specify, we can specify sales document type. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And item level default block for the create memo items, default block for the credit memo request items, where you can specify the billing block. Item category, right? So this is G2, right? This is G2N. If I go to so Vivo V7, right? Vivo V7 is the T code. G2N. You see?
Okay.
So whenever this item category comes to any credit memo request, so if the credit memo request item category is like sales document TAN, the credit memo request also has its item category, right? G2N. Okay, G2N. So if I put a block, billing block for this item category, if I put a billing block for this item category, what will happen? Whenever this item category determined for any items of this create memo request, system put a item level block
Go
also.
on a block.
So
Go on a block.
yes, system not only put the billing block header level, system not only put the billing block at header level. Let me show you. I think I did not show you in the previous classes. I go to VA03. Okay, this is different system, right? I think there is some issue. I don't know why. Okay, so if you want to put the block at the document level, if you want to put a billing block for the whole document level, for a complete header level, where you can put here, okay, billing block at header level or the delivery block at the header level. But in some cases you want to put only just one item. There are 10 items. You don't want to put block for all items. Like if you put a header level, that block is applicable for all items, right? But if you want to put only for specific item, then what you can do? You can go to the item, okay? You double click the item. See, you can put the billing block.
Okay.
So this you can put manually here, or if you put this in the item category, that automatically comes to this item.
Okay.
Let me explain. So if I put block for the TAN, like these things, you need to try to practice, okay? Because like I already explained, but systematically we'll not have time to demonstrate, like everything, okay? You need to test, put what is this, and you can check how it works, okay? If I go and put and billing block here, if I go and put billing block for any item category, whatever it is, but TAN will not put. We don't put TAN billing block, okay? We don't put TAN billing block. But if I put it here, when I create a sales order, and if item category is determined TAN in the sales order, what happens? That item automatically have the billing block. Okay? In the similar way, if I put a delivery block, okay, and then what is going to happen? It will come, that block will automatically to the item of the generally like item delivery block is not available item category, but we do at the delivery block for the header level. Okay, billing block is only for the billing block is for both header and item. You can maintain billing block for the document type and item category. That means header and item. But delivery block is only available for the header level, not for the item category level. Okay, like this. So like this here. Coming back to the routine. So if any billing block is there, system is not permitted to copy the item data from the source document to the target document. So like this, what we do, SAP has given some standard routines. You can basically you can select routine and go to that information tab, and you can read that, understand what is the business reason. If that business reason is not enough, or if your business people come to you and saying that this is how it is behaving now, but I don't want this, I want different way, then you can give this number and give it to the ABAPer, and he will start making the changes, and then you need to test it, and then you can deploy to the production. And apart from this is one of the important thing. Okay, pricing type. This is the problem. Okay, let me explain. Basically, this pricing type controls whether you wanted to redetermine price in the billing document or not. That means when you are copying the data, when you are creating the create memo, with reference to the create memo request, how the price will be determined in the create memo document? In general, it will be copied from this document to this document. Am I correct? Price will be copied. But if you want to determine the price again directly in the billing document, if you want to determine the price directly in the billing document, then how it happens? If you specify in the copy controls, the pricing type should not be like copy from the source document. It has to be directly determined here. Then you can change here. Okay, and also okay, billing quantity. Okay, so basically, so what could be the billing quantity? Whether you wanted to change the billing quantity directly in the create memo request, or you are okay to copy the billing quantity from the create memo request to the create memo document. So like this you can specify, the fields when you are configuring the copy controls. So basically copy controls can be maintained at header level and item level. Copy controls can be maintained header level and item level. So if you can go back, so SAP has given two different options for so what I will do, I will explain one more time when system that fixes. I'm going to talk to them why it is not displaying in proper way. So once everything is clear, we are able to see each and every drop down options, then I will explain one more time. Okay, so here the copy controls can be maintained. Sales document. So the copy controls can be maintained sales document to the sales document and billing document to the sales document. Okay, so that means this is when you are creating a create memo request, when you are creating a debit memo request, when you are creating the return sales orders. This functionality. This is sales to sales means when you are creating the inquiry to quotation to sales order, or contract to the sales order. That is what sales to sales. So the copy control requirements related to sales and billing to sales, where do you do that? You do it in the sales section. And whereas if you want to maintain the copy controls from the delivery to billing and sales to billing. Sales to billing means this one, right? Sales to billing means create memo request to the create memo, and delivery to billing. like outbound delivery to billing. So when you want to maintain copy controls for the billing, means whatever how you are creating the billing, you can create billing with reference to the delivery. That means you have to maintain copy controls between delivery to billing. And how you can create the credit memo or debit memo, you can create with reference to the sales. That's why you can maintain copy controls between sales document to the billing document. So that is what is available under the billing section. Understood? That is what is available under the billing section. Copy controls between the billing section. So here you can see sales document to billing document. Sales document to the billing document. That is this one. Sales document to the billing document. Okay. And then there is something called billing document to billing document. So what is it? So basically, billing document to the billing document means sometimes it is like this. There is something called invoice correction request. There is something called invoice correction request. So you created an invoice wrongly and you wanted to correct it. So in order to correct the wrongly created invoice, you create a new invoice. Then what you can do, you can maintain in order to perform that activity. In order to perform that kind of activity, what we can do, we can maintain copy controls between the billing document to the billing document. You can maintain the copy controls billing document to the billing document. And also one more thing, one more very peculiar, very generic requirement. Whenever
So it includes pricing, right? Billing document. So any sort of price adjustment shouldn't it be a credit memo or debit memo? Why should it be like a billing document?
No. It is just if you wanted to correct the invoice amount, not the price. Invoice amount. So without taking into consideration of all the whole process one more time, directly you use it to create the billing document, like invoice correction request. It's called invoice correction request. That is the one scenario. Okay, it is not because of price, but it could be because of quantity. Okay, it could be because of quantity, or it could be because of you found that system bugs or system errors. It could be possible. Okay, the calculations, whatever the way it works. Okay, that scenario you create invoice request with reference to the invoice. And in addition to that, there is very frequently happening case. Let me show you. I'm not sure whether it is demonstrated this. So let me find out any billing document. What is the table for the billing document? Tejo, you remember?
Yeah, VBRK.
VBRK is the billing document header table.
Yeah.
It has some. Let me take this document. So this is billing document, right? This is billing document. Let me take this. And if I go to, there is a transaction called VF11. For example, I created a billing document, but the complete billing is wrong. The billing document which I created is completely wrong because the price is wrong, the quantity is wrong, and even I'm not supposed to create the billing. By mistake, I created a billing. Then what I need to do? I need to cancel, right? There is nothing. There is nothing right. There is zero thing is right. All 100% whatever I do, it's wrong. Or by mistake, I created the billing. then what I need to do? I have to cancel. So the cancel billing document P code is VF11. VF11. Okay. Enter the billing document number and hit enter, and then I'm canceling it, saving it. Saving it. The billing document is created. Okay, don't please ignore the accounting document, that we'll discuss later. So what is the billing document created? If I go to VF03, it will display. Okay, this is the okay. So what is this document? Cancellation document.
Yeah.
Right, it's the cancellation document. So what is the document type for the cancellation document?
S1.
S1. So that means when you cancel an existing billing document, what is going to create? A new billing document is created in the system. Okay, a new billing document called cancellation billing document is created. So that is also having its own document type. Am I correct? Your existing billing document type is F2. Your existing billing document type is F2, and your cancellation billing document, whatever the billing document created for the cancellation. That means whenever you perform the cancel billing document, the system will create a new document called cancel billing document. That is also having the document type. So
Okay.
if you want to create a cancel document, if you want to create a cancel billing document with reference to existing billing document, where you need to maintain the copy controls, you need to maintain the copy controls between billing document to the billing document, right? Billing document is billing document.
Okay.
And the cancel document also billing document, right? The cancelled one also.
Okay. Okay.
So that is why
All right.
we need to maintain the copy controls between billing document to the billing document. Okay, that is the best example which we can easily understand. Every time you cancel the existing billing document, the system will create a cancellation billing document, cancelled document. So if we want the system to create a new billing document for the cancelled purpose, there should be a copy controls maintained between F2 and S2. If you can go here, S2 is the cancelled billing document and F2 is the standard billing document. So S1 and okay, so like this, you need to maintain. So if you don't maintain this, when you try to create a cancel, if you don't maintain this copy controls between F2 to any billing document type, like for example, especially S1, will you able to cancel the billing document? No, system will say that I cannot cancel because there is no copy controls maintained for the cancellation billing documents. It cannot do that. So that is the reason what you need to do. You have to maintain the copy controls between the billing document to the billing document. And the next one is straightforward. Delivery document.
So for all scenarios, we have to create the copy controls and keep it ready. Otherwise, the system, out of the box system will not let us to create any.
Yes, it is mandatory. The reason is SAP will give all the standard copy, like F2, like OR to LF, LF to F2. SAP give the standard, but we are not going to use the standard document types. Tejo, right?
Okay. For Z types, yes.
The Z types, right? So whenever you create a new document type like ZBOR or ZF, GBF2, whenever you create a new document types, you need to make sure those document types are also connected at the copy controls level. Okay, whenever you create any new document types, wherever it is being used, wherever it is being created, you need to make sure those document types are also connected in the copy control functionality. It is very important and very useful and easy also. Not unless and until you want to go like any change the existing routine where you need to go back to the developer. If you do not need that, if you just copy existing, it is very easy, very simple. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. So you do these settings in SPRO, and then you can go to VOFM, and then you can see all those routines.
Yes, and basically the functional consultant will not go to the VOF2. Okay, basically ABAPers. Let me show you. Whatever the routines you need, like Vivek, are you able to follow? Vivek, Umera, Vijay, Swati.
Yes.
Yeah, good, right? Okay.
So does this mean, Venkat, when you're copying a particular sales document type, even the copy control also getting copied, like OR to ZOR when we do that?
Actually, yes, like you see that message, right? You remember like when you were trying to copy, like copy all entries, only copy few entries, right? Okay.
Yes.
It copies to some extent, but you need to make sure whether it is really copied or not. But always it's better when you go to the copy controls and check it.
Okay.
Let me show you one more time. Okay, let me show you in the system. Let me explain, this one today, and maybe tomorrow I will try to show like how we can copy. Okay. Okay. So you see, you have seen some routines, right? You have seen some routines. Okay. As of now, we have come across pricing routines and copy control routines. You know where those routine numbers are created? Those routine numbers are created in Vivo FM. In Vivo FM. So these routines are created in Vivo FM. Okay, here. So copying the data, then up. Copying the data, copying routines for the orders, copying routines for the delivery, copying routines for the billing documents you see here, and for the data transfer routines. Okay, this is for again deliveries orders. You see like in the same copy controls you see two fields. One is the copy control routines and the other one is the data transfer routines. So copying requirements and data transfer requirements, and this is pricing routines. And if you want to use any routines for the output, if you want to use any routines for the account determination, so like basically these requirement routines we can use for the pricing, output, account determination, material, listing, free goods. Many places you can use these copying requirements, but these copying requirements and data transfer routines are only used in the copy controls. These two are used in the copy controls. These requirements are used in the pricing, output, account determination, material determination, everywhere. And these formulas for the pricing, like alternative calculation type and alternative condition based values. So all those routines, whatever the numbers you see in the pricing, whatever the numbers you see in output determination, wherever you see that routines and requirements, all will be created under the, they're all created by SAP. They're all be created by SAP, all are available in the VOFM. If in case any changes happens, what happens? Okay, your ABAP team member can go here, okay, and he can change this one. He can change, this code. You can change the code for each and every routine. Okay, so this is how it works. The whole copy control functionality. It looks today we have some system issues and system restrictions that not able to see the values. And if it's okay by tomorrow, we will see. Otherwise, we will, whenever the system gets back to the normal situation, then I will explain this concept one more time. Okay. So everybody clear?
Yeah, Venkat.
Thank you. See you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Okay. Tomorrow 9 to 11. Tejo, tomorrow 9 to 11. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
9 EST.
9 AM EST, right?
Okay. Thank you.